The Kia Seltos is the brand's hottest selling small compact SUV, and for 2024, Kia Philippines has refreshed it to make it even more compelling and competitive in this hotly contested segment of ours. How you doing, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and join me and a couple of my media friends as we drive the new Kia Seltos all the way from here in BGC to Batangas to experience everything that it can offer. I'm sure you'll be surprised, and I'm setting myself up for that as well. All right, so we're behind the wheel of the 2024 Kia Seltos. This is the mid-grade EX variant, which means you got a couple of niceties over the entry-level LX, but you still have the same engine. You've got a 1.5 liter naturally aspirated dual overhead cam engine. It's a gasoline engine, by the way, that makes 114 horsepower and 144 Newton meters of torque. And if you think on paper that doesn't sound like much, well, it's really not that much. First of all, we've got a standard suspension system. You got McPherson struts up front with a torsion bar rear suspension setup. You got 2,630 millimeters of wheelbase clearance right here, so it's just enough to be a compact crossover SUV. You've got 190 millimeters of ground clearance to work with, which means, yeah, you're definitely higher up than your usual hatchbacks or sedans. The drive quality is fine. Fine is probably the best word that I can describe it to be, because it's not going to burn your loins, especially when it comes to performance. Again, you only have 114 horses to work with in this one, but because of Kia's CVT system, which they call IVT, or Intelligent Valve Transmission, you have all that power on tap, ready to use whenever you need it. You've got a couple of drive modes available to you as well. You've got Sport, you got Eco, you got Comfort, and Smart, and it definitely utilizes all the power at your disposal. One thing surprising for me is that you have a couple of traction control systems here as well. You've got snow, mud, and sand. Now that I've set that up here, I can't seem to head over to the regular or the default setting, but I'm just going to leave it maybe in snow, because I am hoping for cooler weather in our hot temperatures right now. The driving position here, well, it's not the sporty. It's not the sportiest. I've asked my pal Kyle here, I've asked my pal Chini about their own impressions about the driving positions, and they said that it is a bit upright, and upright it is. The steering wheel is adjustable for both reach and rake, but it doesn't reach as far forward to you as you would want it to be. And for a guy like me, 5'10.5" with a long torso and short T-Rex arms, that's really not gonna help me at all. But thanks to the manual adjustable seats, you've got adjustable height. You can go forward and back, up and down, and you can tilt it back as well. Getting your optimum driving position is easier than your regular budget SUVs. Speaking of budget, you hear that? Budget this really is. You don't get an ounce of soft touch materials, except maybe for the center armrest here, which has a slight film of leather-like material, but the seats are nice and comfortable. They're nicely bolstered, they're not too aggressive, and they're not as flat as you think they would be. They're very comfortable. They're very comfortable seats. When it comes to comfort, it doesn't really exactly equate. Well, soft seats don't really mean the most comfortable when it comes to seats, but these ones, they're soft, they're supportive, and I like it. Another point for the Kia Seltos is its NVH. Again, that suspension setup that I mentioned earlier, McPherson up front and a torsion beam in the back. It's usually not a recipe for being the most luxurious, and it's not the most luxurious, but it definitely takes up these road imperfections like a champ here. We're heading over to we're actually going over Tagaytay right now, and if you know this place, it really is a little bit down on wear, but it's really fine. I'm going to ask our passengers right now, how are you guys feeling in the back as passengers? Pretty good?
The suspension's pretty soft.
Is it soft? Yeah. How about you? Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's the best test for the suspension here. Our passengers actually feel a little bit sleepy. They actually feel a little relaxed, but they're not nauseous at all. It's soft, but not boat-like. And here we're going through a tight turn right here, right now, and the suspension is a little pliant. I mean, surprisingly good for a car at this price point and with its intended target market. So steering isn't the most responsive, but you can actually maneuver just fine. I'm really excited to see how the 1.5 liter, or should I say 1.4 liter turbocharged variant, the SX, would perform. So I'll continue the driving impressions there later on. All right, so that was a fun drive with the 1.5 liter EX variant. But before we move any further, let's talk about the design details of the Kia Seltos. First of all, the front fascia actually features some sort of neoclassical design for me, where it's actually not going to age well that quickly because of all those angular lines right there. The Tiger Nose grille has been updated for 2024 right here. In fact, it even looks more modern than the Kia Sorento, if you ask me. You got a Starlight lighting implementation right here, but actually check out the DRLs. It kind of looks like a star on each side, and right here on the front end, you can actually see a DRL moving all the way to the front of the new Tiger Nose grille. Also here, the SX variant has an LED fog lamp there, and got a nice, interesting trim right there on the door panels that kind of differentiates itself from the EX variant. But one thing that you will not miss out is, of course, the blacked out roof that actually hides that panoramic sunroof inside, those roof rails, and a two-tone implementation for the 17-inch alloy wheels. Now, take a look at the side profile of both of these cars. Color matched door handles, you get that on the EX variant, while here on the SX you got brushed chrome aluminum. So you won't get any of those chrome looking door handles. Instead, you'll get what looks like brushed aluminum. Yeah, that's right. It's not as shiny as one might think. In fact, it's kind of brushed to me if you ask me. So anyway, moving over to the back of the Kia Seltos right here, you've got also more of the LED tail lamps that we actually enjoy. You got this nice rear wiper and a spoiler, what seems like a hint of a spoiler up top. You won't be getting any power tailgates here on both of these variants, but you do get a lot of space inside, and you can fold those seats down. No problems. Overall, I think it is a clean looking design. Like I said, neoclassical. You won't be regretting this purchase 5 or even 7 years down the line. In fact, this is gonna age well, like fine wine. All right, so we're wrapping up this beautiful day of featuring both the Kia Seltos in its EX and SX form with a drive home in the turbocharged Kia Seltos. So instead of getting a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, this one instead gets a 1.4 liter turbo engine as compared or in contrast with most of its rivals in the market today. It makes 140 horsepower and 244 newton meters of torque, which again, these numbers don't mean anything if you can't put the power down efficiently. And with this dual clutch transmission, it certainly does that quite well, I might add. The interior is streets away from the EX variant. Instead of having hard-touch plastics, this time around you get a few touches of soft touch materials right here on the outboard armrest, on the door cards, the middle of the dashboard, and of course another 12.5 inch screen that acts as your gauges and your information cluster right in front of you. You also get power seats for the driver. Get cooled seats, and this is pretty much better than the EX we drove earlier this morning. Plus you get a panoramic sunroof to boot. Performance wise, it is a beast compared to the EX variant, that is. But again, compared to its rivals, it's pretty up to par if you ask me. The suspension does ride a little bit firm, but Maybe it's because we're now driving really hard in this car, on which with the EX variant we are not able to do so. Steering wheel is now leather wrapped as well, which gives it a much better feel on my hands here. Still don't get any way to manually control the system or the transmission here, so you can't row through your own gears. But you do get an additional level of safety because of Kia's smart safety systems, and they call it DriveWise. So what is DriveWise? Well, it's a suite of their active and passive safety features, which include your standard safety features, and this time around get adaptive cruise control, you got lane keep assist, and all those niceties that you would really like in a car at this price point. One thing that this does not have though, which I wish it did, is a 360-degree camera system, which it does not, which is kind of odd because they could have added that in its repertoire of safety features, but it doesn't. Again, it doesn't. I know you guys have been waiting for this. What are my initial fuel economy figures for both the EX and the SX? The EX, although it was down on power, it's pretty good when it comes to fuel economy, particularly in the city. Earlier I was observing how much it does in urban confines, and it was able to do around 9 to 10 kilometers per liter despite having a full load right here in the back. But it seems to be struggling in the highway, always having its revs up, and of course I'm on this on sport mode. It's only doing around 13 to 14 kilometers per liter, but again, we'll do some testing on it, do a full review next time. I can give you a better fuel economy reading. Right now we're in the SX, and initial readings right here on the highway, it fares much better, around 16 kilometers per liter on the highway without trying to be as fuel efficient as I can. But again, like I told you guys, we'll be doing a full review next time, so watch out for that. Pricing for the Kia Seltos. The EX variant starts at 1,288,000 pesos, and with that, well, you get cloth seats. So in this case here, you get leather seats. And then everything that we discussed earlier about its interior. But with 1,688,000 pesos, you get everything. You get the full fat version, leather seats, leather steering wheel, a smart safety features that we discussed earlier, the 1.4 liter turbocharged engine, the better wheels on the outside, and the panoramic sunroof. You got to ask yourself, is it really worth that much to get what basically is a much different car than the EX variant? If you ask a lot of people who know about the Kia brand, they'd probably say yes, especially with Kia's warranty, which is pretty much extended as compared to the standard warranty. It's worth it. Kia's pretty much earned their keep by building cars and improving them as per generation as they come. And while many newcomers in the market today are still at that level, Kia's already pretty much improved on their build quality, their performance, and I think they earned their own right maybe to charge a little bit more extra compared to its rivals. Speaking of rivals, if you're in the market for a Kia Seltos, especially this one, the SX variant, I think you might want to consider others, such as the Ford Territory. The Ford Territory is a much bigger vehicle than this one, but with a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine as well. You got the Ford Territory. You even have the Honda HR-V in its RS and its V forms. You got the turbocharger there, pretty much the same size, I gotta say, with that one. And you got other newer models. You got the Chang'an CS55 Plus. Then you've got the Chang'an Unity even, which is quite a futuristic looking car. The Geely Coolray also comes to mind, just one of the OG 1.5 liter turbos in the market, and my personal favorite, the GAC M-Zoom. But at the end of the day, you could probably say to yourself, well, I could probably spend a little less coin, a little less cash compared to spending on a Kia, but you're pretty much not getting the same peace of mind as compared to those newer brands probably. But with Kia, they're backed by a good warranty, a good distributor brand is backing that up with AC Motors, and yeah, this is definitely something that you might want to consider. In fact, it's a good family car, whether in 1.5 liter guys, or even a 1.4 liter turbocharged engine. So that's pretty much everything that I have to say for now about the Kia Seltos. We'll be doing a full review about this in the future. I hope you enjoyed our video. Make sure that you leave us a comment, tell us what you think about this turbocharged car from Korea, and tell me if you have any other cars in mind. But while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. So my sign-off is pretty much going to be this golden hour kind of light, and enjoy it, because you don't see my face a little bit, and I know you guys like that. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.